This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
So, welcome everyone to Board of Public Works meeting for March 19th, 2025. Make a motion to open the meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
And Thomas Malsbury.
Yes.
Present. Steve Litwin.
Yes.
And Leah Strode. Yes.
All right. Item 1 on the agenda is public speak. I don't believe we have anyone joining us who wishes to address the board. Item number 2, we're not expecting the mayor at this evening's meeting. So item number 3, approval of the March 5th, 2025 meeting minutes. Was everyone able to review what was prepared?
Yes.
Any issues?
No concerns.
Okay. I will make a motion to approve the March 5th meeting minutes as prepared.
I second.
Roll call on that as well.
All right. Thomas Malsbury.
Yes.
Steve Litwin.
Yes.
Leah Strode.
Yes.
All right. We'll get filed with the clerk. All right. Item number 4, discussion of Westfield Battery Storage Project. At last meeting on March 5th, we had 2 members of the public that requested that the board look into and assess any potential impacts of the Westfield Battery Project. So I believe Craig has done a little research on that and is going to summarize his research to the board and get it on the public record.
So I was able to speak with Donna Sharkey, who is the hearing officer for the project as it moves through it's called the Energy Facility Siting Board in Boston. It's previously handled by DPU, and some statutory changes at the state level created the Energy Facility Siting Board that is now overseeing the allowance and siting of battery energy storage facilities of this type. And just to kind of get a better understanding of the project, I did speak with the planning director in Westfield to kind of get their insight, his insight into what the path forward for the project. And so basically what it sounds like, the state can issue a zoning exemption to allow the facility to be built pretty much wherever they deem it's necessary to be built. It was comforting to hear from him a little that the batteries themselves in this particular project will not rest. They're part of the property that the infrastructure will be located on, rest within the aquifer, but the infrastructure itself would not be over the aquifer line per se. But really the only thing we can do as the city of Easthampton, whether it be a communication from the mayor's office or the city council, or should the Board of Public Works want to issue a resolution or a communication of some type in opposition to the project, we could draft up that language and send it in to the hearings officer that I spoke with, and it will be entered into the with the rest of the documentation regarding the project. That it doesn't sound like there's, and everything I read, I didn't read everything, but didn't seem to be any support for it, and there's a lot of opposition to it between Westfield and Southampton and residents here. So you hope that they hear enough from the people that live around and start to look for a different site. So if the board would like, we could continue to research and put a letter together to submit to the state, or I can check with the mayor, city council, see if it's something that they want to come from them.
Okay. Yeah, I personally would want to do a little more research on it myself. If we're going to act as a board upon it.
Sure.
But I think if you want to do some background within other departments of the city to see if they want to have a coordinated, effort, or if the mayor would like to lead that, or and I think it's all very early in the process. Is there a window for the comment period, or is it?
She did reiterate to me we have plenty of time to issue any type of communication we wanted to. So it sounds like it's very early in the process, and really it's just what I think the gist of what I was able to gather was from Westfield, they would like to see the state not issue the ability for a zoning exemption and leave control to local municipalities. So, but it's going to be whatever happens is going to happen in Boston. That will.
Any other questions or input or thoughts on the process? You know, in light of what Greg said today and what was mentioned in public comment last session.
I agree that I'd like to look into it a little bit myself, and just like learn a little bit about
The state has a whole website devoted to that particular
this
project.
exact project. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so does the proponent of the project, the company putting it forward, and there's a lot of information there.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Yeah, as long as we're not under any sort of timeline, I'd like to, we can continue it either to future meetings or, reintroduce it to the agenda when we'd like to make movement on it.
Sure.
And thank you for, doing that
Yeah, that
initial
was,
background
Yeah.
research.
Happy to do it. Glad to get a little bit more knowledge on it. It's different to me. I think it's different to a lot of people because it's like, who would have thought it would be mass storage of energy in lithium batteries? But it's
yeah.
technology, I guess. So.
There's no further discussion from the board or public on that. I'm gonna, I think for now, we'll leave it on the agenda and we'll continue it to the next meeting to stay on the agenda. And we can touch base if there's any discussion to have on it at that point. We can have more, or if we wanna, just move it along and move comment along to, maybe we can do that.
Sounds good.
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to continue discussion. No action today.
I second.
All right, and Thomas Mosbury,
Yes.
Steve Litwin.
Yeah.
And Leah Strode.
Yes.
All right, and on to item number 5, Director's Report.
Okay, great. So Union Street, I don't have much of an update for you. I haven't heard when they're gonna be back to do much more work. We did go over some of the pattern, some colors for the crosswalk stampings at the rail trail and up near High Street. Ludlow did finish removing the regulated soils and construction debris from our yard on at the end of last week. And Mass DOT had one of their structural engineers out last week at night doing the mast arm inspections on the traffic signal arms out here. So nice to get that wrapping up. We did damage when we were moving snow last month, a couple of the tree pit grates.
I saw
So
that
we
when I was
gotta,
walking
I
in.
gotta buy a couple more of those. But when the trees are in there, we'll know that the guys will know they're there. And being new is it's unfortunate, but
That's the worst of it.
Yep. Main Street, I don't really have many updates for you now. Maybe next month should have a little bit more there, but nothing since our last meeting. The Congregational Church clock, I think we talked about at the last meeting. Historical Restoration Steeplejack Service was there today, completing the coverings of the exterior clock faces. They're going to follow up with a formal report and recommendations, including a cost estimate for complete exterior repairs and restoration of the clock faces. My thought, as watching this move forward, is that we need to look at that in phases, where we do the exterior repair. The church performs some slate repairs to the steeple. We make the steeple weather tight again and seal up the clock faces, and then move into a second phase to include the restoration of the mechanical clock workings. So that's what I'm thinking in conversations with him. But when I have the formal report, I'll be happy to share it once I get it. But they just did that work today, so I should hopefully within the next week or so see that from him. Palmer Meadow Road, the bridge, lane closure, we put in that temporary traffic control layout today. I'm waiting on a scope to design temporary repairs to the timber piling so we can get that lane back open, and we'll be coordinating with Southampton on getting that repair performed. I'm cautiously optimistic, hoping we can have that lane back open by the late fall if we can get a project moving and funded. And let's kind of see how things shake out. Still waiting for a scope from the engineering firm. So it sounds like the repair is to wrap the existing timber piles in concrete to prolong their life and get the bridge back to 2 lanes, but we'll probably be, before too long, looking at a complete replacement of that bridge too, as well. So, the vacant schools, I just wanted to give the board a quick update on some of the work we did there the last couple days. Monday and Tuesday, and staff from several CPW divisions working at center school and then cleaning up the playground area. We removed some fence along the side of the school, got the garden shed out of there. That whole area was just attracting just unwanted activities, behavior, littering. It's quite a mess. So we removed the overgrown former garden beds and just leveled the area and seeded it. So it'll just be, hopefully it'll just, grass will grow there. We'll be able to maintain a little bit easier. The fence won't catch the litter and the dumping ground like it was. There was the trash we pulled out. It was amazing. Broken umbrellas, furniture, appliances. People have been throwing all sorts of stuff in there. So it's cleaned up for now. Also, the play structures at the Maple Street School have the 2 larger structures there are really fallen into a state of disrepair where they're not safe to be used anymore. The one in the center, the plastic coating over the steel grating has rotted, blocks moisture in there, and the grating's rotted, so it's the potential for someone to step on it and their foot to go through. So we taped them off for now to keep people out, and we're going to remove the 2 larger structures within the next couple weeks. The accessible playground that's newer, that's there, the significantly smaller one, kind of more to the right if you're looking at the row of play structures, that will remain because it's still usable. The other ones are just too dangerous to let people continue to use them. And last year, Mayor LaChapelle and I worked with then Representative Carey's office to secure some state funding for downtown pedestrian safety improvements. We had been working on getting $200,000 was like the goal, to try to get some work done along Cottage Street, some sidewalk work done along Adams and Everett Streets. But at the end of the day, Rep. Carey was great. He was able to get us $100,000. So we'll be taking that funding. It won't be enough to really make a significant impact on sidewalk along Adams and Everett because there's just too much length there. There's right-of-way concerns. So we're going to focus on repairing the Cottage Street crossing at the municipal lot and making some better upgrades to the Adams Street intersection right by the Brass Cat, where that crosswalk is there. We're going to try. You can't hold me to it because we're still designing and getting measurements and such, but would like to see some bump outs, possibly an RFP there at Brass Cat, where Adams, I shouldn't say the Brass Cat, where Adams Street comes in. And repairing the crumbling brick inlay. So that's going to require like a full depth excavation of Cottage Street through there. It kind of remains to be seen how much we'll be able to fund. It's about 90 feet if we want to encompass the 2 municipal lot entrance aprons, and we can do it in a stretch of about 40 if we just do the crossing itself and update the ADA ramps there and replace some of the concrete along the sidewalk. We're going to look to do a full depth 12-inch excavation with new gravel, because I think what has caused that crossing to crack in the way it has was just poor subsurface conditions and soils that are down there that we need to get a better road base in before we put a better crossing over the top of it to get the longevity out of it. So,
How long do you expect that to take?
I'd love to do it late this summer. Close Cottage Street for a day or 2 and just get in there and get it done. That's probably ambitious though, but we'll see. But I have heard through the grapevine there's not a lot of construction work out there this year, so it's kind of advantageous for if we can get a small project out to bid. We may see some numbers come back on it that are better than years where there's more construction going on. So
That's great.
And when I don't have it on here, but I did want to add, we did open bids for the rail trail project, and that will be, we're hoping to get a contract in place with the vendor next week because the work has to be done by the end of the year. So we haven't officially awarded the contract yet, so I'll stay away from the numbers and who the vendor is and stuff like that, but it's moving along nicely. So
Do you expect it to be a busy summer for you?
we have a lot. We have a lot going on in planning and design for this year. think the city's kind of due for a lighter construction season because it's been, with Union Street and Holyoke Street last year, and I think it'll be a little less disruptive this summer because most of our stuff is in the planning stages in New City and Emerald Place. So
Any of the secondary streets at all, anything in mind?
for paving,
Yeah, or repair?
nothing that I can really speak to yet. We're working on that infrastructure asset management plan for paving with environmental partners, and I hope to have that in hand to really kind of formulate where we're going to go the next, with larger scale paving projects. We will have a project out to bid this summer for the bridge decks on Fort Hill and Torrey Street, Fort Hill Road and Torrey Street, and maybe some of that Pomeroy Meadow bridge repair will be built into that project. But it's hard to say when we go at the bridge deck, once they remove the top layer of asphalt, it's putting a cost to what those bridge deck repairs are gonna be is tough because there's some unknowns
Until it's revealed.
till we're in there. Yeah, so I'd like to get those two bridge decks handled, and then we have a better idea of where we can go and how far we can stretch some dollars to get some more streets paved. I know Park Hill Road is bad. We got to do the water main under that first, but that's what I'm really hoping we get with that plan from environmental partner. I'm looking forward to going over that with the board and really using that to lay out.
Yeah, that'll be a good
Especially, yeah, absolutely. Especially if the state, the way Governor Haley's been talking about more funding coming either through Chapter 90 and through Mass DOT. I think it'll put us in a good position.
We have actionable plan.
Is that a split ownership of the bridge between Southampton and Easthampton?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. There will be a shared ownership. I don't know the complete percentages of it at this point. We've kind of taken the lead in getting the project moving. And we'll be working with Southampton and the city solicitor to kind of formalize an ownership agreement. It's always my understanding we owned the Torrey Street Bridge, but not that one. And I've actually even spoke to the former city engineer earlier today, and he kind of had the same understanding, but we can't base it on anything other than
Right.
our understanding. So I wish there was a formal document to look back to. There's nothing we can find. So we'll, in this process, we'll make that document and have a good understanding with Southampton, as we have the two town line bridges. So.
Are there any other town line structures that we're aware of that may benefit from preemptively?
I don't.
That's really.
Those are the two, Torrey and.
None with Northampton or. I'm saying other communities. They're all roadway entries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if
there's another
if
bridge,
there's
let's do them all, right?
yeah.
Yeah. But no, there's Northampton Old Springfield Road, the bridge that's down there. The town line is way back.
Yeah, no, more just with a thought out
Yeah.
loud to look at the perimeter and see if there's any other with.
We do have the issue on Lovefield Street, but that's a culvert failure that is clearly on Southampton, in Northampton.
Mm-hmm.
The town, we're a little before it, so.
Okay, yeah, well, just a thought. If these documents didn't exist.
Yeah, we should have them.
Yes. All right, is there any further discussion on anything Greg brought up or any?
Good job, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Very detailed.
A lot of stuff happening. It was good. Today was a good day. A lot of stuff we've been planning and working on happened today, so it's good.
With that, I thank everyone for their time, and I will make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
I second.
All right, and Thomas Salisbury,
Yes.
Steve Litwin,
Yes.
Leah Strode,
Yes.
motion carries.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.